We are live. Welcome to this week's Teaching Raid live stream coming to you from Sarlona. If you're new to these events, this is something that we've been doing for 5 years. Every winter and spring, where we are teaching new folks how these raids work. And sometimes we get folks that are new to the game. Sometimes we get folks that are longtime veterans that are just maybe new to raiding. Or maybe they're just new to a particular raid that we're doing. And so, we go through how the whole raid works, but we're not trying to make these folks experts at these raids. We're just trying to give them, a basic level of competency so they might feel comfortable joining a pug raid and have a decent idea of what's going on. If you're on Sarlona, these are public events. If you want to get involved, if you're new to raiding, or there are certain raids that you want to learn, I always post details in the Sarlona forum every week during the winter and spring. And all you gotta do is send me a mail in game to sign up. As long as you're new to or still learning a raid, I'd love to have you. And we always make sure that our teaching raids, are a low stress learning environment where we focus on having fun and learning the raid. So we typically aren't doing like the highest difficulty for the raid, like we're just going to do Caught in the Web today on Epic Hard. And I always bring along a handful of my guildies to make sure that it's a smooth event. So the 8 folks in the group now are all my guildies that are here to help make things smooth and maybe to answer questions if I don't know the answers, or help me out with answers that I might struggle with. Like, for example, for those of you who know me, I only play casters. So when people ask melee questions, I don't know what the hell the answer is to. People ask like questions about damage reduction and stuff, or melee proficiency. I don't know this stuff, so I'm glad to have my guildies here to help answer those kinds of questions. Welcome to those that are just signing in to watch the live stream on Hell and Costas. So you're learning along with it. Cool. You've done it 2 or 3 times, but still don't really know it. Well, this will be great. Your friend is enjoying the Ginger Spice Druid build. That's awesome to hear. I'm really looking forward to the changes that are happening in Druid. And I'm really happy to say that they allowed me back on the Players' Council. I was on the Players' Council in 2016, but I'm back on it now just for the Druid Pass. So I can't talk about the details of it, but I'm really happy to be part of that conversation. Okay, I'm going to get the new folks that are signed up for this event in here. So if you're watching the live stream, you've got a good 5 minutes before the action gets started, because I got to get these new folks in here. And so if you're going to go grab a drink or something, now's a good time to do that. And by the way, I will be answering, for those of you, there's always people from other servers learning the raids during the live stream with us. If you have questions, ask in chat. I'll be monitoring chat the whole time. My attention will be focused on the folks here in the raid, but I will be looking at chat when I can and answering chat questions when I can. Hey, Lion Fear, welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, Lacertus, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Divinia, welcome. Okay, we just got one more person here who I think may be AFK. Got a full group tonight. all the new folks that are signed up for the event tonight are actually folks that have attended previous Teaching Raid events. So they're not newbies to the events, but some of them are newbies to the raid. Oh, okay. Well, appreciate everybody's patience. And hopefully he'll reconnect shortly and we'll get going. But I want to know, anybody watching the live stream, have you guys, is there anybody here who is new to web, you've never done it before, or anybody like Costas? Is there anybody that has, run it a few times but still feels like you don't really know it and are still learning it? Magical Bamboo, welcome to the live stream. Looks like he's back. If you're watching a live stream, this is a little trick you can do to see if people are actually flagged. If you're doing a raid that you can share, when you share it, if somebody's not flagged, it'll say like error, so and so has not done a prerequisite, or I can't remember exactly what it says, but it doesn't say so and so already has the quest. It's some other message that makes it clear that they're not flagged. Y'all probably knew that, but maybe there's a person or two watching the live stream that didn't know that. And that comes up, and you can see it comes up in standard chat. So some of you may not know that because maybe you don't have the standard chat selected to show up in your chat box. Hey, Chakma, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thanks.
All right, well, we're all here. So we got 4 people signed up who are new to or still learning the raid. And then the rest of the folks here, my guild is here to help out. And everybody has attended teaching raids before, so there's nobody new to the event, but some of you are new to the raid. So I want to know of the folks that are signed up, learning the raid, who's totally new to this, you've never done it before, and who has maybe done it before a few times but are still learning it.
Once for me. First time.
Okay, cool. 3 folks that are totally new to this raid. That's awesome. And Davinia here actually attended this as one of our teaching raids, I think a couple years ago, but and he asked if he could join tonight, and I said, well, you only get 1 teaching raid per raid, but if we get space, then you can join us. And we had an extra space, so he's here again. So very cool. But sometimes we get folks that are still have run the raids maybe a couple times, but still feel like they have stuff to learn. There are lots of raids in this game that you could easily do a dozen times and still feel like you're lost, or there's a lot for you to learn. And just a reminder that we are live streaming this event. There are people from other servers watching and learning along with us and asking questions in the live chat. There's only 10 people watching now, and at any given point there's not going to be more than about 25 or 30, so it's not like we're being watched by tens of thousands of people around the world. But just wanted to let you know that we are live streaming, and this video will be on my YouTube channel if you want to watch it later. We are just going to do hard, guys, just because, like I've said before, we try to focus on making this a low stress learning environment where we're not worried about trying to stay alive. It's going to be nice and easy. Uh, if you need to pause your bravery bonus, go ahead and take a minute to do that. And on hard, this is going to be really, really easy. It's just that the end fight on Epic Elite can get a little hairy, and I didn't want a bunch of people to die, which is possible. I know that we'd finish it, but I didn't want, I don't want it to be stressful. I wanted to just focus on mechanics. And you don't need to buff yet, because I do need to explain some things first. I just want to make sure that we're all here. Okay, all the folks that are new to this and signed up are inside. So, welcome to the Demon Web. You've already been here, though. You've been here, in the Slayer Zone and in the quest that you flagged. And the Caught in the Web raid map is actually, in large part, the Slayer Zone map. It's not identical, but it is very similar, and we're just sort of being plopped down in the middle of it. And so it's kind of a weird raid in the sense that we're not really starting at like a beginning or one end or the other. Like, we're just being plopped down in the middle of the Demon Web. And if you turn around behind us, like, we're going to be going that way later on, but to start with, we're going to be going to the north. But we're going to come right back through here, and I'm going to point that out when we do. And like I said, this right now, this is just part of the Slayer map. Or it's the same as the Slayer Zone map. If you fall off here, in the Slayer Zone, you just get teleported to, a few different random teleport destinations. But here, you will die. So try not to fall off the Demon Web. So make sure that, when you're going up and down the strands, it's not a race. Just get up and down in one piece. Hey Zavon, welcome to the live stream. And if you fall off and die, your soul stone is going to get teleported to the first Loth fight. We're going to be fighting Loth 2 times in this raid. And I'm going to show you how that mechanic works, but not quite yet, because I want to get to that spot, clear all that out. And if you fall off and die now, then you're going to be stuck, and we're not going to get to you for a couple of minutes. Pretty much everything in this raid has to be killed twice, because the first time you kill it, it turns into like a soul version of itself. And then you got to kill it again. There are going to be like the Mistresses of Agony that you encountered, I think probably like in every chain that you flagged for this for, that when you beat them down, once they get to like half health or whatever, they will sacrifice living mobs around them to regenerate themselves. So when anytime we're around those Mistresses of Agonies, then we need to kill all the living mobs around them first, and then the Mistress, otherwise she's just going to regenerate them. But she can't sacrifice the undead mobs, the soul versions. I said everything has to be killed twice. It turns into a soul of itself. It's just the living versions that she can sacrifice, and not the soul versions of those mobs. This raid can be very confusing to people who are new to it. The confusing parts of this raid are just the map itself, because it's not linear. There are some spots where we'll like maybe jump down a strand because it's just a little shortcut, and it's just kind of a windy path, and so that part can be confusing. So if you're feeling that way at any point, don't stress. Like, that's the way it is, and it was confusing for me in the beginning, and the only way to overcome that is just practice, is doing it, and you start to get to know the path. And the other part that can be confusing is the end fight. The end fight has a really unique mechanic, or multiple mechanics going on, and it's different than any other raid end fight. It's not just beating a boss down and you win. There's multiple things going on, and it's really important that the group in the end fight is coordinated, because the end fight can literally go on forever. It can become incompletable if people are just running all over the place and not focusing on what needs to be done, because uh, everything's going to respawn and we need to kill things in a certain order. And I'm going to go over all that once we get to the end fight. But for now, let's go ahead and get buffs and get started. Also want to say again, you've all heard me say this before, but if you have any questions at any point of the raid, please ask, even if you have to interrupt me. If you're lost, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, whatever, just please ask. Or if you want more explanation of something, that's what these events are for. Alright, let's do this. Remember, don't fall. Also, I just woke up, so if I sound groggy, that's why. So we got a Mistress of Agony here. We're going to kill the other mobs first. And now, watch carefully. We're going to jump down to the east. And onto this strand. Hey Lucas, welcome to the live stream. You're Chaos? My guilty Chaos? Been a while since I've seen you. Is there a collectible back there? I haven't run this raid a lot since collectibles were added to it.
Thank you.
Where's it at? Aha, cool. I wanted to show this on the live stream. When Caneth Crafting was redone about a year or so ago, they added a bunch of collectibles to a bunch of older content. This was one of the places they added collectibles to. So here we want to start by clearing trash. Once the trash is dead, everybody can hide under the ledge of this little outcropping here. Alright, everybody just hide out right here. Explain how this works. So here's where we get to meet Loth the first time. And what we're just really seeing is a projection of Loth, not actually her. But this is an escort raid. And here's where we pick up Anna Brabner, who you hopefully remember from the storyline from the flagging quest. So the object of this raid is to get her out of the demon web, and that's how you win, by getting her through the demon web. So we're not actually killing Loth. We'll fight her Loth a couple of times, but the goal of this raid is not to defeat Loth, it's to get Anna out of the demon web. So here's where we pick her up, and Anna is extremely frustrating. I have a love-hate relationship with her, mostly hate, in the same vein of like Coil, for example, if you know Coil from Threnel. If you know Coil from Threnel, you probably hate Coil from Threnel. Well, that's how I feel about Anna. Because Anna doesn't listen.
You just kill him.
Anna runs away from me when I try to talk to her, just like girls in real life. So she's very frustrating. And so I'm going to talk to Anna here, and she's going to get up, and then she's going to like draw the energy out of this orb that's in front of her. And there's like 4 of these orbs throughout the raid that you can take her to, and she draws the energy out of them. As soon as I talk to Anna, Loth is going to appear, and she'll look like a ghost. She'll be translucent. And once Anna gets done drawing the energy out of the orb, then she will she'll pull down Loth's shield and will be able to attack Loth. You can fall right off of the edge here, so don't do that. Step to the edge of the cliff. Once we get there, once we're fighting Loth, if you're a melee, step to the edge of the cliff. Make sure you're getting numbers, and you're basically just attacking Loth's belly button. She's really big, and you're just swinging your weapon at her belly button. Make sure you're getting numbers, but don't fall off the edge. I'm emphasizing that because people do it all the time. Even experienced players in this raid will just walk right off the edge because they're not paying attention. It's not a big deal if it happens. I'm just letting you know. You will die if you fall off. When you talk to Anna, there's going to be several dialogue options, and one of the ones that you want to pick is to do not help us fight. So she's going to take a minute to draw down the energy of the orb, and you want to tell her to not fight, because otherwise she's just going to get damaged. And you want to try not to let Anna get damaged, because the number of chests that you get at the end is in part determined by Anna's health. See how she's running all around? This is part of what makes Anna frustrating. She doesn't do what she's supposed to do. Lucas, Chaos, I'm really glad that you stopped in. It's good to see you, man. I hope that we'll see you in game soon. We haven't forgotten about you. You want to make sure that if you're not the person guiding Anna, that you don't talk to her. And if you accidentally click on her, then she's going to start following you. So make sure that you let folks know that Anna's following you, and so that the person can reacquire them. Okay, melees can go up to Loth. Spellcasters, be very careful, because she's going to shoot out a laser beam that's going to draw down your spell points really quickly. In fact, on Elite, she will one-shot your entire blue bar away, which totally sucks. So a lot of times casters will be off to the side, just kind of popping out from behind these tusks or bones or whatever they are, throwing a spell, and then hiding again. The biggest boobs in DDO. Okay, Loth is now taking a break, and we're gonna now fight her legs, her spider legs. And some people think they look more like crab legs, which I kind of think they do too. But her legs are gonna be popping up from below the platform, and they may knock you clean off the platform. And you can tell they're coming up because there's gonna be like the ground rumbling. So if that's happening around you, you might want to step back as not to get thrust off the platform. Every time we kill a leg, a Bebelith soul is going to appear. And right now we got to kill a total of 8 legs. Now back in the day, DPSing these legs down was challenging, but today we're way more powerful than we were in 2012. And so we're beating everything down really quickly compared to 5 years ago. But on higher difficulties, it may make more sense to have everybody focus on one leg at a time, and then after the leg is destroyed, to kill that Bebelith. So that you're not just killing a bunch of legs and then you got a bunch of Bebeliths to deal with. If you had like 4, 5, 6 Bebeliths attacking you on a higher difficulty, it may be a little overwhelming. So that's what we did back in the day. We would like kill a leg and then kill the soul, then kill another leg, then kill the soul, etc. But today, it's really just a DPS fest. Don't stress if you got flung off. I want you to experience that. I want you to see what happens, so that when you join a pug of this raid, and that happens to you, you won't be surprised. Notice that when you die, your soul stone just appears right back here, in between these giant tusks. In fact, if you fall off the demon web at any point in this raid, this is where you reappear. Right here. Your soul stone will appear right here on this platform. Oh wow, her hand's up. Okay, at this point in the raid, usually Loth reappears and we have to finish beating her down. But we can beat her down so fast that she's not making a reappearance. But if you look up, and don't run away yet, guys, those of you who know the raid, just stay right here because I want to explain a few more things. If you look up, you'll see Loth's big, creepy hand. And the biggest, creepiest fingernails ever. So that's going to stalk us and hit the ground and cast Wail of the Banshee and AoE insta-death spell. So make sure you have death block going. Okay, so like I said, if you fall off the demon web at any point, your soulstone will reappear here. Notice that there is a res shrine there, so you can just raise yourself and then you catch up with us. Later in the raid, we're going to be doing a couple optionals that are going to make portals appear. If you come back here where I'm jumping up and down. One of the portals will be here, and then another one of the portals will be over here. And basically, you would want to take those portals to get back to the party. There's just going to be shortcuts, otherwise you got to run all the way back. But like I said, once we do certain optionals, those portals will appear. So if you die and appear here, it's just a quick way to get back to the party. Any questions before we keep going? The hand will stop following us shortly. Let's keep going. We're going to head to the west now. So we're just doubling back. We've already been through here, and we're doubling back where we've already been. You've never done this raid, Zavon, cool, and Bryson. Wow, I'm watching the live chat, and I almost walked right off. But we have several people who are watching the live stream that have never done this raid. That would have been awesome if I walked right off in the live stream. Okay, so at this point, Anna's supposed to be following me, and I don't see her. She's back at the start. Okay, so an example of Anna not doing what she needs to be doing. Don't continue. I need everybody to come back down just to the bottom of the strand. Anna is the trigger for the trash mob spawning, so it's really important not to get ahead of the person that is escorting Anna. Me in this case. I don't know why Anna didn't follow me. Maybe she knows that I have ill feelings about her. Yeah, she does. I think she does at this point. We have a long history. Alright, so like I said, she's going to trigger mob spawning. So if you are running way ahead of the person escorting Anna, then you're leaving that person to deal with a bunch of trash. Don't get ahead of them. There's spiders right here. And like I said, it's really, really important. If you click on Anna by mistake, just say something. You know, just say, Anna's following me, and the person can reacquire her. Otherwise, she's going to follow you, and it's going to confuse the person that's supposed to be leading her around. There's also an option that you can, like I said, there's a lot of dialogue options. One of them is to tell her to summon a shrine. There are no static shrines in this raid. The only way to get a shrine is by telling Anna to spawn one. And every time you do that, she loses health. So you don't want to just summon a bunch of shrines, because like I said earlier, the number of chests that you receive in the end is partly determined by what her health is. So you want her to have as much health as possible. So you should never do that unless, you know, the leader says it's okay for you to do that. Typically, if the group is gonna spawn a shrine, it'll be the leader determining that. And unfortunately, sometimes, you know, when you get people that are being jerks or they're griefing a raid, one of the things they'll do in this raid is just talk to Anna and tell her to summon a bunch of rest shrines, which screws people out of chests. Yeah, you can blur her, you can give her resists. It's great to give her elemental resists. Yeah, I'm glad that you asked that question. That's very important. In fact, if somebody could give her elemental resists, and really just about all of them, I think, that'd be great. Pull up the map, give you your bearings. I meant to point out when we were walking back through the starting area, but I didn't, because I forgot. Anna had me distracted. Can I blame Anna? Remember, kill the mistresses last? But if you open your map, you can see that, you know, we've come back through that area already. I just want to show you right here, where I'm jumping up and down right now is one of the spots that Anna likes to get caught into. You'll run up this spiral, and she'll just be running into the corner here, and then you gotta come way back down. So you gotta keep an eye on her.
Okay, I accidentally talked to her.
Okay, thank you for saying that. So make sure, if you're leading Anna, that she doesn't get caught there. Go ahead and work your way up the spiral. We're going to be going into that portal, but don't go in there yet. Let's take care of all these mobs that are out here. There's going to be some mistresses, some archers, Febla. Throughout the raid, there are some mobs that are kind of hidden. They're like secret lunches of the mistresses. You don't see them right away, and so that you start beating down the mistresses, and then, you know, there was a mob hidden around the corner that was put there just so that they could sacrifice him and regenerate. Okay, this portal is going to be the first optional. You don't have to do this, but most groups are going to, because there's one of those orbs in here, and that gives Anna health, which determines the number of chests that you get. So you do this optional so that you get more chests. Focus on the boss. There's a Glabrazu there. The trash is just going to continuously respawn, so just focus on the boss. And now clean up the trash. And then I take Anna over here, or whoever's leading Anna, over to the orb, and she'll start doing her thing. All right. I want all the new folks. Well, as I've said before, I want you guys to see what happens when things go wrong, so that you know what to do. And so I want all the new folks to go ahead and jump off the side and commit suicide right now. I'm gonna do it with you. The High Lords, you guys can stay right here, but just jump right off because I want you to see what's gonna happen. Because I guarantee you, if you do this raid, you will inevitably fall off, and I don't want you to be confused at what to do next. See, we're right back here at the first Loth fight. We have the Resurrection Shrine, so you can just raise yourself. It's kind of hard to see because it's translucent, but it's right there between the tusks. And notice that this portal is here now. Remember I said there was going to be some portal that appear? When the second optional is done, that's when the left portal will appear, and you'd want to take the left portal, but it's not there yet. So we're just going to take this portal to get right back to that optional. And that's where we are right now. We're right outside that optional that we just did. So we're going to go turn around and go right back in the portal. And there are the High Lords waiting for us. Probably laughing at us because we just all killed ourselves. If the person leading Anna fell, Anna's just going to stay there. So that person has to go and reacquire her. Or anybody else can. But typically just one person will lead her, but if the person leading her fell, maybe another person would grab her in the interim. If you're new, go ahead and click on Anna, just so that you can see the dialogue options. Don't select any of them, but I just want you to see them. Let's go back to finding artifact orbs. Stay here while I scout ahead. There are going to be points in which you want to park her so that she's not involved in a battle, or she doesn't get hit. I can't remember what let me be your shield against Loth is. Does anybody know what that selection does? It's not one I ever use. And right now, one of the options, it says, alright, you can fight too, just don't run ahead. But that's the only reason that option is there is because I've already selected to tell her to not fight. And you really want to tell her to not fight, because otherwise, like I said, she's going to get involved in battle, and then she's going to grab aggro, and she's going to take damage, causing you to potentially lose chests. And then another option is, it says, you can't summon a rest shrine, can you? Costs Anna health. And that's what will pull up a rest shrine. But you never want to do that unless the leader, says it's okay. All right, let's go out. High Lords, for those of you who remember and know Chaos, our guildie, he's actually watching the live stream right now. He said he misses TDO and he'll be back soon.
Oh, awesome.
The Brazilian Chaos, not the other Chaos. Just some trash mobs here to deal with, a bunch of master spies. Some spiders. I've never tried to solo this raid, and I suppose that technically it is soloable. Does anybody know if anybody soloed this raid?
I've seen posts on it.
Okay. I've never done it. The mechanics of the end fight would make soloing it very tricky. So I wouldn't advise that you do it, but it definitely could be shorthanded. This part was traditionally a really tough fight because it's a multi-layered area, and it became really tricky to heal people because they'd be blocked by platforms, and people would get separated and stuff. But it's not a problem by today's standards. But just to keep Anna out of the way, what was traditionally done here is people would park Anna down here on this strand. You have to take her far enough forward to spawn the mobs, but once that happens, you can take her back here and tell her to stay here while I scout ahead. And hopefully she listens to you. But go ahead and you can jump down to the right, that's fine, and just kill all the mobs. There's gonna be a whole bunch of. There's gonna be some Driders and a whole bunch of Mistresses of Agony. Some Master Spies. Back in 2012 and 13, this fight here could be a bit drawn out. You could spend several minutes or more. You could spend 10 minutes here dealing with this fight, and there's a whole bunch of mistresses, and their comet falls were very painful. Cool thing about this raid is that it's a base level 24, which, based on the level requirements, you could do this raid on Reaper mode, even at cap. In fact, we did it on R1 earlier this week in Guild, just as sort of a refresher course, because this isn't a raid that we lead and we do in Guild anymore. And I actually haven't even done this raid since the last time we hosted as a teaching raid, like last summer. Okay, I'm stay right here for a sec. I need to jump back down to get Anna. Now this
The
area,
weapons are still real nice. They're leveling.
I want you to notice that there are two different directions that we could go to from here. This is one of the parts that can be really confusing. One of the directions leads to an optional, and one of them leads to the end of the raid. So we're going to go to the optional now. And the other way we could go, if you look off to the right as we're on this web strand here, you can see that there's like another strand down there that leads up to a platform. That would lead toward the end of the raid. That's where we're going to be going after we finish this optional ahead. This is another spot where this fight could be a little tough back in the day. It's not going to be a problem for us at all by today's standards, but traditionally Anna would be parked back here at the start of the strand once everything spawned. So if you're ever doing this on higher difficulties and you want to make sure Anna doesn't get hurt, you can do that. Just like in the quests, when the mistresses sacrifice a mob and regenerate, they get the red glowing aura, and they're just a little tougher while that aura is going. What did you say? Oh, what you get your SP drain from. Loth has laser beam eyes that drain your spell points. So not something we have to worry about at this point in the raid. If you haven't ventured into the world of sentient weapons yet, the weapons that come from this raid, which at the time were awesome, I mean, they're really good, like low to mid-level epic leveling weapons, they can be made sentient. So that's pretty cool. This is our second optional. It's the same kind of thing as the first optional we did. There's going to be like a platform, bunch of trash mobs, and a boss, in this case, a Bebelith. Focus on the Bebelith, and then all the trash will stop respawning. Otherwise, stuff's just going to keep respawning. Oh, there you go. There's a couple of weapons from this raid. If anybody else has weapons, it's all of the raid. All the raid loot is weapons. If anybody else has weapons, please link them. People can see them. I'll show you for the live stream. Celestia is definitely one of the more popular weapons from this raid, as is Pinion, a highly sought after bow. And the hand wraps, Antipode, are also a very, very popular weapon from this raid. And here's another orb for Anna to do. And you can watch Anna's health when she's drawn on the energy off of the orb. You can watch her health go up. And when we first picked her up at the beginning of the raid, she had like 5% health. When you tell her to summon a rest shrine, she loses maybe like 15-20% of her health. You can safely tell her to summon 2 rest shrines. A third is really can be dicey, like that's really putting her on the cusp. If she takes any damage, you're probably going to lose chests. But I've definitely done it where I've had, you know, back in the day where we've had her summon 3 rest shrines and we still got all of our chests. There's a couple of spider souls here. Sometimes they make Anna freak out. Okay, so now that this optional is done, if you were to fall off and die and appear back where I showed you, now that left portal would be there, and you would just take the left portal to catch up to us. If you took the right portal, you'd just be further back at that first optional. So you'd want to take the left if that was an option. Thanks for watching, Zaman. Now here, we're not going to retrace our steps exactly because we can take a little shortcut just by jumping off to the side, to the left. And a few minutes ago when I said, you know, there were 2 ways to leave that platform and we're going to be going this way later, ahead is that platform, and at this point we can just jump down to the left, just as a little shortcut. But because we jumped down like that, Anna is lagging behind. But if you get far away from her, she will teleport to you, which she just did, and that triggered the mobs to spawn. Maybe some mobs up that platform to the right. Should be using my new sentient weapon, the Dusk, which is the weapon from Baba, the Baba raid. But I don't use it in Reaper questing. I'm not a big fan of it, and I need to do a video about that. Got a Babelith here to kill. Not for this build anyways. It definitely would be a nice for a more traditional light-based caster. But this is a tanky build, so it just doesn't work out very well. This next platform up here is the final platform before the end fight, and so we're going to be using this as a staging area. But there's going to be some trash mobs that we want to clear out first. Alright. So, the next platform up this strand is the end fight. And there's two more platforms. There's the big platform right up this next strand, and Loth is at the north end of it. And then there's another smaller platform way up top that has basically the exit. And I'm going to explain how this end fight works, but first we're going to have Anna summon a shrine. Here she goes. Go ahead and shrine up. Don't click. Make sure you don't click on Anna by mistake. No need to buff though after we shrine, because I'm going to take maybe 5 minutes to explain things. This end fight is, like I said earlier, it can be really confusing. And even there are a lot of people that have done this raid a bunch of times that don't really understand all of the mechanics of the end fight. It's really important that people, know the gist of it. Because like I said earlier, like this end fight can become incompletable because everything respawns. And it respawns pretty quickly. And there are certain mobs that you have to kill all of them in order to complete the raid. They all have to be dead at the same time. And if they're not, then they just keep respawning indefinitely. So what's going to happen is we are going to start by having someone take Anna up the strand to trigger the end fight starting. So right now Loth hasn't spawned yet. All the mobs up there haven't spawned yet. But once we take Anna about a third of the way up the web strand, it will trigger all that to spawn. And what we're going to do is we're just going to have a person, preferably like a person that doesn't care about their blue bar, like a self-sufficient melee tanky kind of a person, because Loth is going to be up there and they can suck their SP down. So we're going to send a person up there that doesn't care about their blue bar to gather up the trash and to bring it down here. And we're going to fight the trash down here so that we're not getting hit by Loth while we're clearing the trash. There's a whole bunch of trash up there. And we'll probably, after we beat down the trash, probably have that person go up and do a second round, just making sure that all of, or most of the trash, has been brought down, that we deal with it down here out of the way of Loth. While we're down here, there's going to be spell wards that, thank you, Gentis, that randomly spawn. So it's great if you have a trapper that can take care of those. If you don't have a lot of experience with spell wards, trappers that are a little bit newer to them often make the mistake of getting too close to them when they're disabling them, and then they the spell wards blow up. You can be like halfway across the room from a spell ward and disable it. So a lot of newer trappers don't realize that. So you don't need to get anywhere near it to disable it if you're a trapper. What we want to make sure that we don't do is when we go to the top of the ramp, we should not be going to the left. We should not be going south. Because there's a mob down there that we want to make sure that we don't aggro. And he's called like the Ascended Exalted Necromancer or something like that. I think there might be a couple of them actually. I think one spawns with the initial trash, but then there's one down there at the south end. And the reason why we don't want to aggro him is because when he dies, all of the other mobs will start respawning at a faster rate. And I believe that it's something like mobs respawn every 2 minutes, and then once he's dead, they respawn every 1 minute. I don't know if that's exactly the numbers, but it's something like that. So basically, we don't want to aggro him, we don't want to kill him until like the end. Because if we kill him sooner, then like I said, it's just going to cause mobs to respawn faster, and then we're just making more work for us. Once we clear all the trash, we'll all go up. There's going to be an orb at the top of the ramp that Anna is going to draw down. And we'll also need to take Anna near Loth so that she can pull Loth's shield down, just like the first time we fought Loth. She's going to have like a translucent shield around her, but Anna can pull that down. Loth can't be DPS until Anna pulls down the shield. So you want to first have Anna go to Loth, pull down the shield, and then come back and do the orb. Once Loth's shield's down, the melees can go up and start beating on her belly button, And hopefully you got a healer up there to take care of them that can stand off to the side. And then all the ranged toons and casters can help with trash that's respawning, can go up to the top platform and clear that out, and then help DPS Loth once, if there's no trash to deal with. And I'm going to be talking us through every point when we're doing it. So you're probably reaching overload at this point. Don't worry. I know how it is. And that's why I'm going to be going through it all again as we're doing it. And so at that point, we'll be beating down Loth. We beat her down to close to 0. She's just going to go away. And there are going to be, mobs respawning at this point. And remember what I said, the objective of this raid is to get Anna out of the demon web. And that's what we're trying to do. But there's a barrier up blocking the cave exit. There's a magical barrier. And there's these portal keeper mobs. Everything respawns. Well, yeah, everything respawns. Like you kill the mobs and then they just come back a minute or so later. So there's going to be these portal keeper mobs. And you'll actually be able to see on the map, there's like a little red dot kind of on the map that'll show you the locations of the portal keepers. And it's like the portal keepers is like their existence is keeping that barrier in place. So we have to kill all portal keepers have to be dead simultaneously for that barrier to come down so that we can run Anna past that. So at that point in the raid, once Loth is beat down and it's all about killing the portal keepers, there's going to be one person with Anna that's going to be doing nothing but running against that barrier so that the instant it comes down, Anna gets through it. What you don't want to do is have Anna elsewhere and have that person helping DPSing, because even if you get to that point where all the portal keepers are dead at once, by the time you get Anna up to that barrier, one could have respawned and that barrier comes back up. They continue to respawn. Even if they're all dead at one time, they'll continue to respawn and that barrier will come back. So it's not like once the barrier is down that it's over. Like, you got to get Anna through it. So this part on higher difficulties can be a little stressful. Yeah, that's a really good point. But so that at that point in the raid, we're just going to have one person just literally just running against the barrier. So like I said, the instant that barrier comes down, Anna will get out, and then we'll be good to go. Like 12 Gauge is saying, when the portal keepers die, any mobs around them get turned into portal keepers. So the order of killing becomes really, really important here. Because if you're just killing the portal keepers first and there's a whole bunch of trash mobs around them, now you're going to have a whole bunch of portal keepers if you kill the portal keeper first. So it's really important that the order of killing is first trash mobs. Both living and soul versions, because soul versions can get turned into portal keepers. Then mistresses. Then portal keepers. And then the absolute last mob we want to kill is that ascended necromancer in the south. So that order of killing, and I'll say it again, first trash mobs, including souls. Then mistresses, that's the second priority. Then portal keepers. Then the absolute last mob is the ascended or exalted, whatever he's called, necromancer at the south end of the platform. And the reason for that order is because if you're killing mistresses first, they sacrifice the living mobs, making them regenerate and more powerful. If you kill the portal keepers first, they turn the other mobs around them into portal keepers, making them more powerful. So if you don't kill in that order, what you're just doing is making more work for yourself. Nope. So what we're first going to do, so the nutshell version of everything I just said, we're going to get trash, bring it down here, clear the trash, then we all go up. Anna brings down Lost Shield, sucks down the orb, while melees beat on Loth. Casters and ranged toons are on trash until Loth is gone. Then one person takes Anna against the barrier, while everybody else works on clearing out the portal keepers. Once all portal keepers are dead simultaneously, the person with Anna runs her through the end, and then we win. I'm going to talk us through it all when we're doing it, but that's the nutshell version. Any questions before we get started? Alright, let's go ahead and get buffs. Did I miss anything, High Lords? There's a lot of nuance, you know. There's places that you can stand to be safe from law. There's places that healers like to stand. I'm not trying to go over all of that. That's just stuff you learn as you do it. But, you know, really just trying to focus on the mechanics, the things that you need to know in order to win the raid. Okay, everybody stays here. Jintis and I are going to go up. I'm just going up a little bit to cause the mobs to trigger, to spawn. But Jintis is going to go up to actually drag the mobs down to us. Remember, Jintis, don't go to the left, don't go south. Alright, mobs have spawned and just start beating on trash. And I'm going to take Anna to the back, where I'll probably forget about her. And that was a portal keeper. But there were no other living mobs around it. Just going to take Anna back here. See how she's just standing there. Derp-a-derp. Yep, come on down, Anna. This is why Anna pisses me off. And then a lot of times, so I'm gonna tell her to stay here while she's got it. A lot of times when you approach her, she just walk away from you, and you have to step to her again to try to click on her, and she walks away from you. Then you walk to her, try to click on her, and she steps away from you, and it's extremely frustrating. And I hate her. Go ahead and get another round, Gentis. Notice if you look on the map, you can see like there's a dot for Anna. She's just to the east of us. So you ever lose track of her, because like I said, sometimes you get stuck. So you can always see where she is. Oh, any charming advantages? I don't think this stuff can be charmed. I've never seen anybody do that. I really don't know. Spell ward. How did it look up there, Gentis?
I'm gonna go to the right. The thing is that the new aggro mechanic, I think you can't avoid not getting the aggro of the necromancer.
Well, you know what? When we did this on Monday, it kind of seemed that way, and I thought I saw a necromancer, but then he ended up being there in the south. I don't know. Yeah, the new aggro mechanics definitely make things a little trickier and confusing, if you ask me. But we can go ahead and go up now, guys. I got Anna. We're going up. Remember, do not go left. Do not go to the south. If you see any trash, kill it. But do not go to the south. Oh yeah, we got some trash mobs. Ideally, this would have all been brought down, but since we're here, Anna just brought Lost Shield down, but work on trash. Once trash is dead, melees can go ahead and start working on Loth. I want range tunes and casters to go up the web strand to the west and clear that platform. Up to the west. Up the strand and clear that platform. Once that platform is cleared out, you can come back down. By the way, Anna's health cannot be healed through normal healing, so don't think, oh, I'll just throw a heal spell on her. It doesn't work that way. The only way that she gets health back is by drawing the energy off the orbs. That was my sentient weapon. Who sounds like Vanellope von Schweetz from Wreck-It Ralph to me. It's the hopeful gem. I don't know if it's coming through in the live stream, but the orb has been drawn down. That objective is done. You want to finish beating down Loth. there's a tusk back here that's, you know, one place that you can be safe from Loth. And then there's another tusk over here to the right of Loth where, like, healers sometimes like to stand because you can hide from her laser beam over here. But you can sort of jump out and throw heals on the group. Oh. Loth does a curse. I should have said this a long time ago during the first Loth fight. It makes it so you can't be healed. So it's really, really important that you're on top of your curses. That you have removed curse spots. That's something you should have with you at all times. Even in regular questing. If you start to get overwhelmed in this end fight, a bunch of people are dying and you need to regroup, you can just grab soul stones and go back down to the next platform, or go back 3 platforms ago if you have to, and then just raise everybody. Some trash mobs might follow you, but if you get far enough away, you'll be okay, and you've got all day long. Alright, Loth is gone. I'm going up against the barrier. Everybody else has to work on clearing out the portal keepers. Remember, trash mobs first, then mistresses, then portal keepers, and then the absolute last mob to die needs to be the ascended necromancer. I should have had somebody else do this for the live stream. But actually I usually have somebody else do it during the live stream, so this way I get to show it. And that's it. All the portal keepers were killed. I was pushing against the barrier so that the moment it came down I got through. We're through. Go up that strand to the west. And we're done. If you have any questions about any part of the raid, please let me know. Otherwise, you can watch the little movie now. Anna and Loth are going to have a little chat. I should have turned on DM sound.
That's it. Of course. She's out of her element here. I'm not sure how I know, but I have a feeling that I can actually hurt her now. There's only one way to find out.
You haven't run away. That was a mistake. The lovely thing about mortals is their mortality.
Ah! Oh!
So much for your great hope. A remnant of a dead god crushed. My power is a raging river. Hers was but a trickle. Did you really believe that... What's this?
That was your last mistake. This is about to become a deluge! How does it feel? That's pain. Real pain. The kind you make mortals feel all the time!
You trifling flea. I've been reckless. I should have consumed you when I had...
Just need to concentrate. A little harder. There!
Unworthy mortal. How did you come to hold so much power? Enjoy it while you can, for one day I will become the new mistress of magic, the new goddess of the weave, and on that day you will bow down to me along with all the rest.
I did it! We did it! We defeated Lolth! Oh, every step of the way you've been there, helping me, showing me what I can be.
Words truly spoken. We stand here, a company of heroes and protectors of our realm. For few who walk the plains can say they fought a god. Fought and survived as I knew you would. Though perhaps not defeated. She has pulled one leg back, yes, but 7 more work mischief in the world.
And once again, Elements just
Still,
shows up
it is
after all the
right
work is
to
done.
celebrate great deeds. And great deeds ye have done. To the heroes come their just rewards.
He's a lover, not a fighter.
An important point that I meant to mention at the start is that this raid never locks. So even up to this point, you could recall out and switch to an alt, for example, or people can come in late just to loot. What triggers the raid completing is talking to Anna right now. So you want to make sure that you never do that. Let the leader do that, because there may be people switching, or they may be trying to get in, you know, people joining in late or something like that. You know, and if you were to talk to Anna and people were switching and then they got screwed out of the loot, they're going to be pretty upset about that. So what some people would traditionally do is, you know, they'd bring their strong tune in here, and then once the raid got to this point, then they'd just switch to their alt that they wanted the loot on. So the raid never locks until it's completed. Alright, we're going to get up to 6 chests here. If we did everything perfectly, we'll have 6 chests, which we do. Woot. So the new folks, help yourself to the chests. You guys can open them. You guys can each open a chest.
I don't want to open one and never get anything if I open it.
Isn't this the best part of adventuring?
The commendations of heroism can be used to upgrade the weapons that you get from this raid, as well as the weapons that you get from the Fall of Truth raid. There are only 2 places in the game to get commendations of heroism. That's Caught in the Web and Fall of Truth. And Fall of Truth is a more efficient farm if you're trying to get commendations.
Alright, I got opinion again for the second time in here, and I pulled it out of my raider chest last time, 2 days before the raid, so you can roll 100 on opinion.
Nice. That's a nice bow.
Thank you very much for everything.
Oh, hell yeah. If there are any last questions about any parts of the raid, let me know. There's a pinion up for roll D100. That's a really, really
I
nice
got
bow.
2 pinions, so there's 2 pinions up for roll.
I've got stuff up for roll too. So don't recall out. I've got lots and lots of stuff up for roll.
Yeah, I put a few items in your main read roll.
Thank you, thank you. Somebody got a +4 wisdom tome. That's cool. Okay. I've got 2 of these Morns. So I'm going to give it to the high and low roller, D555. But I've got more weapons, so don't recall out if you're wanting to roll on stuff. I've got an Antipode, got a Celestia, lots of good stuff in here. Nobody wants the hammer. Alright. Oh, Lemuria wants one.
How are we rolling again?
D555 on the Morn Hammer of the Mountains. It's a war hammer. Anybody else? If you're trying to roll Lion Fury, you have to type in /roll D555.
Nice roll.
Nice roll.
Okay, Lion Fear. I'm giving you the one on the left, first chest on the left. And Lemuria, I'm giving you the one, the chest on the right. Next up for roll is, nobody rolled on your pinion?
I passed them both to you because I don't have the heart to
Okay.
give them away.
I got 2 pinions. Let's do D200, high and low is going to win it. please ranged tunes only roll on that?
Every time I run this, Pinion's going to be the only thing I get because I took it out of my Raider box after
You
5 years of looking at
only
it.
run this raid twice. It's just a coincidence.
And I've got 3 Pinions.
Alright. That's cool. Lacertus, I'm going to give you the pinion. Does anybody else want a pinion? Nobody else seems to want the last one. Otherwise, I'm going to give them both to Lacertus.
It's a terrific mid-level epic bow.
Lacertus, I'm going to give you...
Until Epic Sapphire Sting.
I'm going to give you both of them. That way, you know, if you want to slot up differently, you know, you might want to put, you know, minimum level augments in them that change it to a higher level or something. So I'll just give it, since nobody wants them, I'm just going to give them to you both. You can do whatever you want with them.
Ooh, open it quick.
Alright, now I'm going to do Antipode. Are there any monks here? I don't think there are any monks here. So I guess anybody can roll Chakma. You can turn this into a collar for your pet, if that interests you at all.
Isn't this the best part of adventuring?
Yeah, you can turn any hand wraps, even if they're named, into a collar for your pet at a device workstation, which is located. There's one in Evening Star, there's one in House C. There may be one on your guild ship as well.
Ooh, open it quick.
D999 on the dagger. It's a pretty nice dagger. There are 4 upgrades to these weapons too, by the way, and you use commendations of heroism. You need 25, I think it is, to fully upgrade it, but there's 4 tiers of upgrades. Okay, Chakma, gonna give you the Antipode. I'm also gonna give a commendation of valor to all of our new folks, or commendation of heroism. So second chest, Chakma, there's one for you. Lacertus, one for you. Divinia, I'm gonna give one to you. And Lion Fear, I'm going to give one to you in the first chest. Lots of loot in here. It looks like Divinio wants the Agony. Third chest. And then we got a Celestia.
I don't need it, but if anyone else doesn't want it, I will eventually make a rogue.
D444 for the Celestia.
Isn't this the best part of adventuring?
And then I've got 2 commendations of heroism left. We're going to go D5000 high and low winds. Is Divinia the only person rolling on the Celestia? Alright, Dav. You're getting the Celestia too. Congrats, buddy.
Well, that's the other thing that I wanted out of the Raider chest. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you got it. Oh, 2 really low rolls. Wooter got a 12. And it looks like the high roll is 3271. So Wooter and Chakma win the extra commendations. Left chest. Any last questions about any parts of this raid? Because that is it.
this the best part of adventuring?
That was a lot of looting. Thank you so much for coming out. Thanks, High Lords, for helping. Don't forget to turn it in
Yeah,
to
thanks a lot, guys.
Elminster
Thanks, everyone.
so that you're not on timer the next time you go do the raid. There'll be another, I'll post details for next week's teaching raid in the Sarlona forum probably Monday. I don't know what it's going to be yet. Probably an old school raid. But I'll post details soon. Have a great night, guys, and don't forget to turn it in.
Thank you so
Good night,
much.
everybody.
You're very welcome. Good night.
Thanks again, Voodoo.
Yep.
Thanks so much to thanks so much to everyone.
Hell yeah, man. I'm going to be shutting down the live stream now, but I'm going to monitor the chat for another 5 minutes or so. So, oh, Sam, the axe from Baba's Hut is this right here I was talking about earlier. Which, like I said, I need to do a video about it, but for this build, I'm not really happy about it, not in Reaper content anyways, because, so what I had been using is the, the Radiance, the Legendary Radiance Green Steel. And this has, I have 100%, I have a 100 healing amplification on here and 9 MRR. That MRR isn't a big deal, but 9 MRR is, you know, it's worthwhile. And this has a proc that blinds mobs, and it procs all the time. And I love it. And I can definitely feel when I don't have this item on and I lose 100 heal amp, that makes a big difference, especially when I'm running in Reapers. And now, what, you know, I originally thought, you know, I would make Dusk my sentient weapon because, you know, it's got higher radiance lore, evocation 8, although I'm not a DC build, so evocation 8 doesn't mean a lot to me. And it's got Brazen Brilliance, so you think, you know, this has a blinding effect too. So that seems like a 1-for-1 with the Legendary Green Steel Radiance effect. But this Brazen Brilliance is like a sunburst proc, and it doesn't proc very often at all. A very low proc rate, I've noticed, and it does, even when it goes off, it doesn't actually blind the mobs very often. I don't know if it's just maybe just a crappy save. I don't know. But the LGS blinds mobs way, 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 way more than this thing. It's just no comparison. And I like that blinding mob effect. When I'm doing, you know, when I'm doing Reaper quests, having those mobs blinded makes a difference. Plus having all that extra heal amp makes a difference. So even this, with the, yeah, I'm getting, you know, my other Radiance item is 185. So it's only, what, 20-something Radiance higher? And my other lore item is 27, I think, so it's only 3% more lore. And for a more traditional light-based spellcaster, that could be important. Totally. But that's not what I am. I'm a tank. So, you know, I'm a caster tank. So this is great for, you know, maybe farming Reaper 1 Skull quests. It's great for if I'm just farming, you know, Epic Elites or something. But if you're wanting to get up into like mid-skull questing, once I get there, even into like maybe 3 skull, I prefer my Legendary Green Steel. And it's sad too because there's even, you know, you can see I have it slotted up with almost all the filigrees. There's one more that I needed to slot in there to finish out the set bonus, and I was going for the 5% displacement on the Twilight Cloaks, 5% stacking mischance. That's nice, and then the healing application from the Purity set. I thought this could offset some of the healing amplification that I had on my LGS. But even with the extra stat points, the extra dodge, the extra mischance, I'd rather have my LGS. And that's just, you know, my decision for this particular tune. But I thought I'd mention since you brought it up. I really, really would like to do a standalone video because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are interested in this weapon. I'm not trying to bash it. I think it's a great, you know, if you're a light-based spellcaster and you're looking for a caster stick with Radiance and Radiance lore, this is it. But, you know, I'm more than just a light-based caster. You know, it's the tanky side's important too. And so that's why I prefer the LGS for this tune. Just me. Okay, guys. Shutting down the live stream now. Thanks for tuning in. I will be monitoring the chat for another 5 minutes or so. So if you have any questions about the raid, or this weapon, I'll respond in chat. Thanks again for watching. And have a great night.